Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I am now going to go through a slideshow briefly describing about Titanic's story. What is RMS Titanic? RMS Titanic is an ocean liner that sank by hitting an iceberg on her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City in 1912. Titanic was the world's biggest and luxurious ship ever made by the hand of man. When Titanic sank, a little over 1,500 lives perished into the icy waters of the North Atlantic, whilst only a little over 700 was saved by the RMS Carpathia, or Carpathia, depends on how you want to say it. Titanic story, Southampton and Cherbourg. On the 10th of April 1912, Titanic left her port in Southampton, Bertha 44, carrying 920 passengers at noon, 179 which is first class, 247 second class, and 494 third class. On Titanic's way out of the Solent, SS New York broke free, nearly causing a collision with the two ships. This happened due to the Titanic's force from the propellers. Later that day at 6:30 p.m., Titanic arrived at Cherbourg, collecting another 271 passengers, none of which are crew members. At 8:10 p.m., Titanic left Cherbourg to head to Queenstown, now known as Cobb Island. Titanic story, Queenstown. On the 11th of April 1912 at 11:30 a.m., RMS Titanic dropped anchor in Queenstown, Ireland, at Roches Point outer anchorage. Today named Cobb, the port was the luxury liner's final port of call on its maiden journey. Titanic collected 123 passengers from Queenstown, 3 first class, 7 second class, and 113 third class passengers. Titanic was too big to fit in a port, so Titanic had to be anchored and the passengers boarded Titanic by tender ferries, for example, SS Nomadic, which is now in a dry dock outside Titanic Belfast. At 1:30 p.m., the Titanic leaves Queenstown and begins its fated journey across the Atlantic for New York. Titanic story, 12th to the 14th of April 1912. By the next afternoon, Titanic was steaming west from the coast of Ireland with nothing out ahead but ocean. It was beginning to feel like a vacation to the passengers, but soon Titanic will be entering an area of the North Atlantic Ocean where icebergs float. April the 14th came and Titanic was going all ahead full. The elegant first-class passengers were enjoying their 6-course meal. I spelled course there wrong. Danger ahead. All day, Titanic received ice warnings in Morse code over the wireless. It was late evening on April the 14th, 1912, and the stars were glimmering as freshly polished shoes. Titanic was still steaming across the Debris icefield. As Titanic's lookout watch was about to end, they saw a dark object looming ahead. It was an iceberg, and Titanic is heading straight towards it. At 11:40 p.m., lookout Frederick Fleet rang the wheelhouse and rang the warning bell 3 times. Frederick Fleet shouts down the phone, "Iceberg, dead ahead!" The first officer bellows, "Hard a starboard," which would turn the ship left. Then he ordered for the engines to be stopped and reversed. Works to prevent a collision. Desperate hopes are rising for RMS Titanic not to collide with the iceberg. Slowly the ship steers away from the iceberg, but sadly it's too late. There is a bump and a ripping noise. RMS Titanic has hit the iceberg on the starboard side, puncturing holes in her hull. The bump is not enough to disturb the passengers, but it wakes up Captain Smith. Captain Smith came out of his cabin in a rush and asked what that bump was. The first officer says, "An iceberg, sir. I tried to put around her, but she hit." Smith orders the watertight compartments to be shut. April the 14th to 15th, 1912. Captain Smith and Thomas Andrews checked the ship for any damage, and there was. Thomas Andrews got the blueprints out and said, "Titanic cannot withstand five compartments flooded. It's a mathematical certainty Titanic will founder." At the time, 4 compartments were flooded. Smith ordered the lifeboats to be prepared and lowered. Charles Lightoller ordered women and children first. Sorry about the music in the background, it's my sister being silly. Where was I? As Titanic casually starts going down by her head, the first flare was shot off, as well as the first lifeboat was lowered at 12:05 in the morning. Smith asked Jack Phillips if he could send out CQD, which means "come quick, danger" signals, and tell him who responds. After time, the RMS Carpathia responds saying they are on their way, full steam ahead, and they should get there in 4 hours. April the 15th, 1912. RMS Titanic is now in a horizontal position and the electricity goes out. Titanic snaps in half. All you can hear is screams of terror, and all around you like a nightmare that never ends. The stern section breaks free and starts to sink vertically. By 2:20 a.m., Titanic had fully sunk. By 4 a.m., RMS Carpathia arrived to collect the remaining survivors out of 2,200 passengers that was on board the Titanic. Carpathia's crew and passengers provide blankets and hot cups of tea to the remaining traumatized survivors. By 8 a.m., Carpathia was off to New York City to deliver the survivors to New York City and confirm RMS Titanic has sank. Now we will do a quiz related to what we have just read to test your minds. No, we won't. We won't do that one. Leo, stop being silly. Thank you for watching this, and I will see you in my next video.